Hey, welcome back to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment down below. Let me know if you're a Lil Boosie fan. Let me know if you're a Young Dolph fan, P&B Rock fan, if you're rocking with Duke the Jeweler. So let's get right into it. So a lot more details came up about the jewelry heist of $1 million worth of jewelry and stuff from when Duke the Jeweler 093 tragically passed. So this whole situation was happening, through the whole weekend where there was a dice game. Duke the Jeweler won about $600,000 at that dice game. Then there was a concert a day later after that. And so he was a guest at that show for Lil Boosie because he is the jeweler. He's basically part of the fashion, the designer team, the stylist and stuff like that, right? So he works kind of close with them. And so he won $600,000 at the dice game, and Jay Prince Jr. was there, and Duke was there, and Lil Boosie. So they're the guys with the most money. So since Jay Prince Jr. lost, Duke the Jeweler is the one who won all that money from all the other people who were playing. It was about 13 people playing inside that dice game that was around that pool table. Everybody else, they were kind of looking around, and from the looks of it, to me, on that Instagram video of where you see that whole dice game going on and you kind of see the camera pan from left to right across the whole room showing basically the majority of the people that was in attendance, right? I was looking at it like a lot of people were pocket watching the people who were playing, right? So there's two different categories, what you see in that scene. It's the people that are playing the dice game. They're the ones with their money. They're actually there fanning it out, counting the bills, and making sure that they have all hundreds that are blue hundreds in one stack and their 20s are in another stack. The bills are facing all the same way, right? That's what they're doing. Then the other guys, they're kind of turned with their back to them and kind of with their looking over their shoulders at them saying, dang, and damn, they didn't have any jewelry on, but the guys with the money had the jewelry on. So now, if you really pay attention to that and you look at open your eyes and look at the facts, you would notice that they can't really touch Jay Prince Jr. because he's closer to home in that situation. They're in his hometown, and basically he's got his whole squad of security. They're really the ones who are kind of doing the work for him right there. And when you see that Duke didn't have his security, so once he wins, the next day the concert happens, and when he shows up to the gate, he has the pass around his neck saying that he's a guest for the act, for the performer who's actually booked at the venue to do the show that everybody came out and paid tickets to see, right? So now he enters in and gets a backstage entrance, and once he goes there, he's sitting in the dressing room with Lil Boosie. He's there with the whole the road act, the road show people who were there traveling with Lil Boosie when he's on his tour bus. And then so he's there sitting backstage. They're doing the prep. You know how rappers prep for their shows and their concerts. They're going to pour up the drink with them. They're going to have their music going. They're going to have their chains there being put on and everything like that, right? And have their people around them. Everybody's kind of pre-gaming. So in that moment, things were cool, right? Everything was looking fine. The next thing you know, as soon as Boosie gets up and the executive producer comes back out, he's on the headset and walkie-talkie, and he says, Boosie, it's time to go. You got to open up in 5 minutes. So Boosie comes out, he goes out with two of the backup dancers and everything like that, and a couple of the security guards exit out. And now it's no more security guards, and it's Duke the Jeweler and a bunch of other guys left in the dressing room and in the hallway, and it's no more security for him. So at that moment, that's when Duke realized that he was really, even though he was a guest at the show, he was alone now. And so the moments that ensued after this was basically what led to the fallout. And so what happened is that there was an altercation that ensued where somebody basically had requested forcibly to try to take Duke the Jeweler's duffel bag that had his chain that was worth $190,000. And that same duffel bag had his winnings and the proceeds from the dice game that accounted to the total of $575,000 plus the money he brought with him, which equated to over $600,000. And so when you really look at that, that was an incentive for the people to actually stick him up. And it was about almost $1 million that he had on him. And he was left with no security backstage, where it's all soundproof because this is a music venue. And so nobody could really hear if he asked for help or anything like that. Okay, so he tried to run out of the place and everything and have his belongings with him. But remember, like I said, it's people in the hallway. So he was basically chased out of that whole area, and he had to try to go run out to his car, where he realized that the valet already had his key. It was already blocked off. It's no entrance and exits. Like, this is the shipping and receiving part of the whole venue. But he eventually makes it outside. But the people from the hallway and the ones who was originally in the dressing room has circled back around, because they're closer to home and they know the area a little bit better. So they knew to circle back around, and ended up meeting Duke right in the back by the emergency exit. It was like a smoking area. He jumped out that door, and it was like the back driveway of the venue. And that's when you see the people say, hey, it's over with. He looks forward, he looks behind him, and the people are closing in on him. They're all wearing dark clothing. At this point, they got their masks on now. They pulled it down, and next thing you know, Duke puts up a fight. He tried his best to get out of that situation and try to get out of that jam. But ultimately, it was too many people, only one of him, and no security guards. And he had, what was $1 million worth of items that they wanted to take from him. And he tried to keep everything. He tried to be, keep his word and say that he was going to hold it down if anything came. If anybody tried him, he's not going to give it up easy. And so ultimately, these guys ended up firing on him and everything. They took everything from the duffel bag. They opened it up, and it was the chains flying around. The wind blew some of the $100 bills in the air, and you could see it flying off into the street light in the parking lot. And next thing you know is the guys basically take off, and a Hellcat pulls up and no plates. They jump in it, and it just skirts off, and nobody's there on time to even help Duke, and he's on the ground and stuff like that. Eventually, somebody sees it because, they heard the pops. They heard it. You could hear it in the distance echoing in this little hallway, driveway area, and the sound is bouncing off the walls. So somebody eventually ended up hearing the echoes and came running, and they seen a man on the ground, and it was kind of a dim area on the pavement. And they walked up and they realized that's Duke the jeweler. And so that's when they called for help. But at that time, it was already too late, and the guys had already got away with $1 million jewelry heist and cash that came from the dice game. And so, it's a lot of alleged things going on. This is really for entertainment purposes, y'all, so don't take this literal. But people are saying, oh, Boosie did this, Boosie that, and this is just a lot of talk going around. And Lil Boosie's coming out to clear up the rumors, clear his air, and everything like that, because people really, the OGs from Chicago are looking at it like, man, do we need to press the guy, or is like, what is going on in this situation? Because it's mysterious. It looks like a backdoor situation when you really think about it. So everybody go out there, be careful, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment down below.